Okay, welcome to the next episode of the HoH Podcast. We've got our special guest Gillian. Say hi, Gillian.
Hello.
This is Gillian, and so she's gonna be having an interview with us about certain topics, and we'll get to that segment later. But first, did you guys watch Endgame?
I did.
Okay.
Wait, but did you guys cry though?
Hashtag spoil.
No, hashtag don't spoil the end.
Hashtag spoil the end.
No spoilers in this
Dude,
video, so please don't.
So like Batman showed up.
Yeah,
Dude, I
he
didn't
died.
Dude, I didn't know Tony Stark was Iron Man, dude. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Wait.
I know. No, I
Did the
didn't.
same-
Yeah, I know, dude.
I know.
Tony Stark is.
Dude, yeah, I know. It was like, what the hell? I was like,
No way, man.
But
It's
did you
different.
guys cry though?
I
I
teared up in the end a little.
I
it
did.
was too bright.
How many times did you cry?
The screen was too bright.
Probably
I was
like twice, I think, but I can't remember where exactly.
You know where I cried?
Where?
When I found out Tony Stark was Iron Man.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Like he took off his mask and stuff. I was like, whoa. Whoa. Ah, that's hot. That's hot. Okay, no, but there's been some crazy stuff going on around Endgame. Like, I don't know if you guys heard about the news that in Hong Kong, like, someone spoiled
I did.
Endgame.
Yeah, and then like he got beaten
He
up,
got
right?
beat up.
Yeah.
Got beat up.
I don't know if we can roll the clip or if there's any picture, but here.
We'll roll it if there is.
If there is, then
Yeah.
it'll be right
Whatever,
here.
yeah.
Right.
Scary.
This dude, right? This dude, he decides to get out of the cinema,
Yeah.
spoil it for someone.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, it's so big, like, why would you do
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I don't blame the people. Like, did he get
But, like-
arrested though? Otherwise, because like I feel like
We're
maybe-
Wait,
Spoiling
we're
him.
spoiling
Yeah,
it?
no, I
Wait,
mean
who
he
got
got
arrested?
beaten up. Like the people who beat him up.
Oh,
They
that's
get, like,
yeah, they
arrested.
probably did.
Probably they did.
Or
I
maybe not. Maybe the police felt for them. Like, yeah, I get it.
mean,
You deserve it.
Yeah.
he spoiled it to the police.
Yeah.
I don't know, because, like, it's always, like, a thing, it's always a battle in my mind, like, hey, like, should this be allowed? Or should this not be allowed?
It's a bit too far though.
Is it too far, though?
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think he
think
just
so.
expected
Yeah,
people
Yeah,
to get angry at him.
they gotta start making, like, rules and regulations on the
Sure.
Hong Kong
Yeah.
law. Bring it up in the legislative council.
What, like 5 years imprisonment? or
Yeah.
something?
If you
If
spoil
spoil
the
it.
movie.
Yeah, but you
Minimum,
spoiled the
minimum.
movie.
That's kind of how.
And spoilers are literally everywhere though. If you're like scrolling on Insta or Facebook, any random video, let's say of like food, in the comments it'd be like, someone died in that game.
Yeah.
So it's like everywhere. And I wasn't here on the 24th, like on the day of the
my
release.
heart
Yeah.
had.
But apparently, like people in Hong Kong were like airdropping spoilers.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
streets.
yeah.
I heard
I
that.
did.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but I was part of it. I was part of the problem.
You were spoiling it for
Airdrop, not like I was with
Airdropping.
people that airdropped it.
Oh.
I am not an Android boy,
I'm
so
glad, like I avoided all spoilers.
I'm safe. I'm an
though.
Android boy as well.
yeah. So
I just like deleted my social media just so I
Just
could
that one
avoid
day?
the.
You
No,
did it
just like
some-
I did for like a few weeks before that, because I know
Oh,
spoilers will
dang.
show up there already.
yeah, that happened
Dang.
with Game of Thrones for me. Like
Yeah,
I was just looking at my Facebook feed, my Instagram stories.
yeah.
So there you go, twice in like 1 hour. I got spoiled twice. I thought the first one was a
Aw.
joke, but clearly the second guy posted it too. And unless they put like a segment at the end of the Game of Thrones season 3, like saying, "Hey, say this on your Facebook post and your IG story," well then, gotta be true. Okay, anyway, so that was something. Another person had to go to the hospital.
Hospital.
Really?
Had
She
to
was
go
crying
because
so
she was
much?
crying so much.
What?
Serious?
What does that mean?
So like she got so emotional. She
Yeah.
was bawling, so she had to be taken to the hospital.
She was bawling, not the good kind.
Bawling.
Not the good.
Oh.
Bawling.
Like
Like
Ball.
she was bawling, so she had
Like she crying.
Yeah,
or
she had
she's
too much gold.
bawling.
Yo, the gold,
Bawling.
the jury on her neck was too heavy. Snapped her neck. Had to go to the hospital. She
Wait,
was
you're
falling too
serious?
hard.
So she.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was thinking like, did she
Shock,
break her
shock.
neck or what?
No. She had to go out because she cried so much. She was bawling.
I
Mm.
cannot
Bawling.
imagine.
She was
that.
bawling, dude.
Bawling.
Dude. Okay, anyway, so that's Endgame. What did you guys think of Endgame? Just tell us, don't spoil it down in the comment section, please. What was your rating?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I watched it. I remember when the first Avengers movie came out, and I watched it with my dad in the theaters, and I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be epic for the upcoming years."
Yeah.
And I remember when I
Yeah.
first heard about the presence of Thanos, I was like, "How are they gonna, make a full movie out of it? How are they gonna beat it?"
Have you read the comics?
No, I haven't. That's why.
That's the reason.
Yeah, but I guess it
You read
was.
the comics?
I read the comics.
I felt bittersweet. Like, yeah, bittersweet. It's coming. It's all coming to an end.
That's not a rating.
It's not really an end though. I watched a
It's
video.
a bittersweet out of a 10. What are you saying? It's
Oh,
my rating.
Damn, boy.
I don't think it's an end.
It's
I
not.
watched this video.
You're trying to
This
be
is spoiler.
sentimental right now?
It's like
Okay,
It's
this
just
is
like-
spoiler territory.
not-
Spoiler territory.
okay. No. Alright, never mind.
No
But
spoiler
it
there.
isn't.
Spoilers.
It isn't the ending. Is
Close
it?
your eyes. Close your ears.
It's like so
Close your
many-
eyes, maybe, I don't know.
Wait,
Close
but
it
then
all.
this is a like
Close.
a known fact
Shut
though,
down
that
for
there
a
are
bit.
other movies that are coming out after this.
Yeah, probably with like
So it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a
other
spoiler.
character
Like-
like other character development, but like the characters who are dead are
There were a
Or
lot.
dead.
Okay, spoiler alert. Okay, so I felt like there were a lot.
No. Don't just don't spoil it in general.
just say it.
Okay. I felt.
Just like bleep out.
I thought.
anything.
Okay, I thought Infinity War was better. That's all I'm saying.
That's not really a
Okay.
spoiler.
I thought-
That's alright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
I
point.
thought
That's-
they were both good.
Yeah, same.
No, but Endgame was good. Like it was so nostalgic. It goes
Yeah.
through a lot of the.
Well,
old
I
movies,
feel like
right?
it is kind of a fan service.
It's a
kind of
fan
movie.
service movie. It's a lot
But
better.
it's still good.
They call it
I
a
liked
lot better
it.
to the past 11 years.
Yeah.
It,
Okay.
It had like really high ratings on IMDb. It was like
Yeah.
8s or 9s. I can't remember. It was
Yeah, well,
really high.
they're paid.
I don't know if it like is the highest grossing movie now or something.
Yeah, they got
It's
the
going on
highest-
to 1 billion.
It's the number 1 million.
Oh.
1 million?
Apparently, it's going on to 1 billion, right?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Definite.
Dang.
Out. See if you said 2 billion.
No, wait. It's going on to. I don't know. I read.
1 billion is like normal for
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 1 billion is
so-
normal.
for those guys
fastest.
for Marvel.
Yeah.
For Marvel
Yeah.
is normal. 2 billion is like barely. Like that's what I think Infinity War made. Like around 2 billion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Endgame's probably gonna surpass that.
They,
I
I
think
mean,
it
they got
will.
good marketing.
I mean, it's gonna be like a long, like they're gonna show
Yeah.
the movie for a long time, right?
Imagine
Yeah.
like 60 years, they got like these little kids becoming old people and stuff. Like they're
kids.
What?
like you saying, bro?
Oh. In the movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like certain kids will become big.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't get your reference.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I get his
Certain
reference.
certain people in the movie will grow old and they
Well,
might
yeah.
become.
But the thing is,
I don't know what I don't know what you're saying, dude. You know what I'm saying?
you literally just said people grow up, and isn't that what people do?
No, but like in 60 years, imagine it's like continuing on for like 60 years.
Okay.
And like I'll be going to the cinema when I'm like 70 or something, watching the next Avengers movie.
Do you think cinemas would still exist in 70 years?
Dude, what?
Um,
Yes.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say they would, but would people still go?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, right now people could still watch on their laptops. They're
Yeah.
still going to the cinema.
Fair enough.
I don't need
For
and
good.
I don't need any
Yeah.
HD cam rip 720p. Okay.
I'm
I
not
wanna
the
get
Pirate
the
Bay.
full IMAX 4D, bro.
Did you guys watch it in 4D?
I did.
Oh.
I didn't.
I
It's
did.
3D.
I watched it in 2D.
I watched it in 2D as well.
We-
Oh my gosh! Now we can see our like incomes.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Just kidding.
I was in like a beach town and they had this like old sketchy ass like little cinema that was like showing it, and I had to watch it on the day because I knew
You don't
there would
want
be
any
spoilers,
yeah.
right? So
Oh.
Did
I
your
just did it.
popcorn taste a little salty?
I bought it at like a supermarket. I didn't want to buy it there. It was like pretty sketchy.
It's like it tastes a bit salty than it should be, man.
It was sketchy.
Why is there a hole in the bottom?
A hole?
What?
Of the popcorn.
Oh. Oh.
Okay. Anyway, let's move
I
on.
don't get
Okay.
it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's for our audience. Whoever gets it, you get it. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about ghost stories at HKUST. So, do you have any stories that you've heard about?
Not here.
Not UST.
Not in
Nothing?
USC. I didn't
You guys
hear.
got anything?
I've heard of one ghost story.
Yeah, go on.
I don't have one.
You want turn off the light, maybe? Like one light.
Spooky.
We'll dim it in post.
How about like
We'll do
this
some
this
effects.
one?
Yeah.
Dim it and post. Dim it and
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
Just turn the light.
Which one? Which one?
Leave them on. Leave them on. Leave them on.
No, but like yeah,
Um,
yeah. Wait, well, how about no? How about one of them?
No, it's easier to edit one.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
one.
this
This one's
one's
good.
good.
This one's good. This one's good.
No, just edit it, bro.
Just leave it on. Keep it on.
Dude, just leave.
Next task.
Okay.
Yo, I kind of got renewed. Why are we clapping again?
I don't know. I'm
Restarting,
following you.
guys.
Okay, go.
We're not restarting, right?
No, just go on.
Oh, my back. So, I heard this one story in year one, I think. about this ghost in LG7. Do you mind?
Ooh.
So I heard so you know the pathway, the walkway from
Yeah.
the supermarket to where the dorms are, like the slight slope.
The side slope.
The slight slope.
The slide slope.
Slight slope.
The slight slope.
Slight slope.
The side slope.
Side slope.
Yeah.
Slight slope.
The one to the wisdom stone.
Yeah.
From.
So apparently, if you go there at like 3 a.m. or something, there would be like a lady just jumping rope there.
A little girl, no?
Oh, little. I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's
like
a tiny ass girl.
a girl or like a lady. I don't know. It's just like
Whoa.
some sort of female person. Okay, not a person, a ghost, I guess. And she'll be like jumping on a
rope?
jumping rope, and she'll be counting from like 1 to like 100 or something. And one day, this guy was like,
cycle 1 to 100, and then like she come back.
I don't know. The story I heard is different.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't repeat it, but yeah, she just like counts from like 1 to 100.
100, 100, 100, 100.
So she's very fit apparently. No.
She's very fit.
And well, so you're not supposed to make eye contact with her when you walk
Yeah.
by or like when you see her. And this one guy, he didn't know about it, and he was walking back to his dorm after a long night of studying in the LC, and he saw the lady or the girl or whatever, and he made eye contact, and
Why wouldn't
she finished counting up to 100, and then like he was still looking at her, and she was looking at him, and she finished counting,
Alright.
and then he disappeared. And the next day, when other people saw her, no, he disappeared.
He disappeared.
The guy disappeared.
God.
And like the next day, when someone saw her like on the jumping rope again, she was counting up until 101 instead of 100.
Hey, she
so
learned.
she killed
She learned a new number.
That's probably where
She went to
he was
school.
She
educating
went to
her.
school. She's
He
going
was
to night
educating
school,
her.
dude.
But
That's
she
what's
adds a
up.
jump every day. It's like progressive. Maybe.
After a year.
Yeah, it's like
What's after 100? What's after 100? Okay, I'll just try tomorrow.
The guy comes over, finally teaches her 101.
I don't know, like for me, I don't think it's a ghost story. I just feel like someone's just pranking me, but it's been happening since last year.
Wait, I'm already scared.
No, it's just I
See,
don't.
when it happens to someone particularly, like first person,
Oh
that's the shit
yeah.
I'm scared of.
Like I don't know. I'm not that
You're
scared
feeling
though. Like I don't feel it, but I mean like
Do you?
I don't know. I don't. There's no like physical
Alright,
things
spill it,
involved.
spill it.
But basically, since last year, it's like I feel like someone's been watching me like in my dorm. No, because basically
That doesn't sound like a ghost story. I think
no,
I need the police.
it was like no, but then it was like in year 1.
wait, which
There-
hall are you in?
I was in hall 9, so this happened twice in hall 9.
Oh my god.
So last year, it was also spring semester.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also, like, this happened, okay, the first time it happened was first year spring sem, and then
Right.
second time happened was second year spring sem. And then,
So right now.
yeah, just a few months ago.
Oh,
So, like,
of course.
so in the first year, I just remember in the middle of the night, there's like someone knocking at the door.
Oh my.
And then I opened it, and then there was no one there. So I was like, okay, someone's just pranking me or something. But then apparently, like, there was like someone, like, after it closed, there was someone knocking really hard. I was a bit scared, so I just went back to sleep.
Yo, what? You went back to sleep?
Yeah.
Is it a single room?
It was a double room,
Oh.
but my roommate was not there.
Dude,
And then-
what? Yo.
And then later, my roommate, like the girl next door, she was kind of like, you know, a bit scared as well. She went in she came to me like the next day. She was like, "Hey, did you hear any sounds yesterday?" I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, I'm really scared. I went to the guard like to ask like if he could come up and check, but there was no one there, and I was like, I don't know.
There was no guard there?
No, she had to go to the guard the next day, right?
Do
She
you
was scared
English?
too.
Do you English?
Yeah,
Yo,
she
I
was
don't
scared
know, man. Seems like people are disappearing and shit, bro. Like,
too. I don't know, and then
Wait,
yeah.
and that happened
yeah, but
Twice.
twice. He just quickly
so it
snap
happened
it again.
It happened again last a few weeks ago,
Oh no.
and then it was like just another knock, and then it was just like what the heck, and then I opened it. There's no one there,
Dude, why would you open it, dude? I would like.
cause like I
I
kind
kind of the people like the.
there's no people in our dorm. No.
There are no people in your room?
But I got really scared at that time because it was like a loud knock, and then it was like 2 doorbells as well, like 2 ringings.
Oh my god.
And then there was like a knock, and then
Dude,
it's just
honestly,
the
it's
one.
a
I was
prank.
like,
It's a prank.
it might be a
It
prank.
has to be a
It
prank.
might be like in hall 9.
95% a prank.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a prank.
Like the
Or
thing
some
is,
malfunctioning with
yo,
doorbells.
our
funny
cameraman is
though,
like freaking out right now.
Oh, hi. No, maybe it's just a prank. You never know.
It's just a prank.
Well, pranks
It's a
are supposed
prank,
to be
bro.
Funny. It's not.
Bro,
not
it's just a
funny.
social experiment.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Like, would you
oh,
open the
the
door?
camera's over there. He's filming you.
Look
Oh,
behind
my
you,
God.
look behind
we got
you.
him, we got him.
Yeah.
Dude, why do people do that, man?
I
That's just
don't
kind of.
know.
Next
I
time you do, just knock back, like.
Just like
Why?
smash the door.
Yeah, what? Knock, knock, who's there?
Morse code.
Morris,
Yo.
that's messed up.
Yeah. That's,
Mm.
don't be scared of H.J.
Dude, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
If that happened to me,
I'd be like,
dude, I would run away naked. Genuinely, if I were like naked.
Are you
under my
naked in
sheets
your room?
when I'm sleeping?
I
How
don't-
naked?
I'm not
Like
naked
not
when I
fully
sleep,
naked.
though.
Like I'm not saying like full nude, but
Like I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. It's not gonna.
Thing is, if I were like, whatever condition I was under my sheet, if someone knocked
Yeah.
on the door, I would jump out my window and run away.
how high do you live?
Huh?
How high up do you
Second
live?
floor.
Oh,
Oh,
you can jump.
You
I can't. Dude, why?
you can
Why
jump.
you telling me
man.
to do this? You're gonna break my ankle, dude. Cowabunga.
Do you guys have any other scary
Yeah,
stories
do you?
Not really.
from UST?
I only know the one
The
that you
jumping
said.
rope?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about that until.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
I don't know, like, okay, when you hear it now, it sounds less scary, but when you're walking back, like from BLC at like
Yeah.
2 a.m. or something,
yeah.
and your friend just randomly tells you about it on the lift, you just get so scared.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
And like, I remember a month after I heard that, for like a month after I heard that story, I couldn't
You're
leave.
trying to look out for her?
Hmm?
Or are you trying to look for the
No, like you shouldn't do that. You just go home through LG5. I didn't go to LG7 for like a
Oh.
long time.
Did you? What do you think these ghosts look like though? Like, do they look like white forms or do they just
Are
look
you
like?
being racist here? White forms? I'm just kidding.
Dude, let's not talk smack about them. They might be listening right now.
No, we're gonna call the spirits.
Oh
I
no.
wanna know who knocked at my door.
Oh my god.
Yo, bro, dude. Like
Yo,
now.
okay, apparently, like, after you talk about ghosts, you gotta, like, dust off your shoulders, because
Is
they
it
might
throw
be.
salt? Throw salt? I don't know. Actually.
Like-
Is this some Korean?
Yeah, it's some Korean thing.
Yeah.
You gotta dust off your shoulders.
swear I'm,
No,
like,
actually,
getting
you can't dust
chills,
off your own
bro.
shoulder. You gotta dust off, like, other people's shoulders, and other people have to dust off your
Bro,
shoulders.
I ain't
for you.
brushing off your shoulders, bro.
Please brush my shoulders. Please brush my shoulders. Yeah, because or else the ghost that you talked about might like sit on your back, follow you home, and
Best friends.
if your shoulders like
No,
hurt
no,
for like a long
no.
time, it might just be
No.
the ghost just like, yo
No.
Theo,
What's good,
what's
bro?
what's good?
What's good, dog?
Nah.
Yeah.
Best
If
friends.
I controlled HJ, I would like Fortnite.
Is that
And
is there a
Mark
impression that
as
goes
Brownlee.
with Marky S. Brownlee?
Okay, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Honestly,
So-
scary story in USC is our GPA.
Yeah.
So,
Huh? Okay, so we're here with Gillian today, and she's gonna talk to us about certain topics. And do you want to introduce yourself?
Like how?
Just tell
Okay.
them what you're interested in talking about.
Okay. My name is Gillian, as y'all know, and I'm a year 2 student. And the reason why I was curious to join this podcast was, well, I wanted to know your opinions on like how racism is in Hong Kong
Yeah.
and how discrimination is like. Because from how I talk with other people, they mentioned that, like for example, locals think that racism is an issue between locals and mainlanders. But then when I talk to like non-Chinese, they think it's locals and non-Chinese. Like they kind of only look at what like their perspective, and they kind of forget that there's other kinds of issues happening. But anyways, I'm just wondering, like, do you think that people are aware of racism in Hong Kong, like the bigger picture, or also like, do you think racism is an issue in Hong Kong?
I think you got a pretty good set of individuals here, like from
Yeah.
different backgrounds.
Yep,
Yeah.
very diverse.
I'm international. I
Yeah,
only lived
exactly.
in Hong Kong for 2 years, so
Yeah, we're not introducing ourselves.
Well, I'm just saying, like, my
We
background's
should-
very
yeah.
different from you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Ishi's international, Theo's local, and I'm a non-Chinese local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both non-Chinese locals. But
So yeah.
yeah, and I also know that international kids also have really different perspectives.
Mm.
Right. What's
Yeah.
what's your experience with this kind of topic?
Well, it's just because for me, I'm aware of the racism between like non-Chinese, like Filipinos specifically, and locals. But when I talk with other people, they're very shocked about that, especially locals. They didn't think there was racism towards that. They think that the racism issue is just towards
Yeah.
like China and Hong Kong. That's it.
Oh.
So, yeah, they just think that, you know, Hong Kong, they assume Hong Kong is very diverse, and that's why they think, you know, we're accepting of different cultures when, you know, there's still some passive aggressiveness to certain types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I remember talking with HJ before, and
Yeah.
she said that she had no idea that this was happening.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that's true.
I am a Korean, if that wasn't obvious enough.
What?
What?
Yeah, like shut up. Sorry, but yeah,
Sure, I'll start crying.
I have a lot of international friends. I think I have Korean friends. I have some local friends.
Yeah.
I have some Indian friends as well. I have Filipino
Thank you.
friends. Like I have a lot of like
Yeah.
I have local friends who are international,
Thank you.
and I have international friends. And I don't really have like local friends because I don't speak Cantonese, and like I talk to them from time to time, but it's not really hard to like, you know, get a full conversation with them because I just feel the language barrier for me at least. And I remember when Gillian first told me about her experience of racism in Hong Kong, I was like very shocked because even when I first came to Hong Kong, my parents were all like, oh yeah, in Hong Kong you should be fine because there's so many, you know, like
Yeah.
international
Yeah.
people, such an international hub, so many people from like so many different countries come like and to study, so you should be fine there. And yeah, there's a lot of I think Koreans make up the second largest international
yeah.
population.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like a minority, nor did I like fully grasp like I don't know. Maybe I was just naive. I just thought we were like all like a happy international
Yeah.
family. Even for the locals, like I never felt any antagonism from them or
Mm.
like I just felt like if we didn't talk to each other, it was only because of the language and cultural differences, not because of any like underlying like emotional
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
bridges.
Yeah.
So that's why I was especially shocked when Gillian told me about her experience in Hong Kong.
Right.
What was it like for you guys as
Yeah.
locals?
As locals? Well, I was lucky enough to be in international school, so I'm not really local. So for like a lot of years of my life, I've had friends from all parts of the earth, like Korea, Japan, from like the UK, from India, from places like that
Thank
as well.
you.
So yeah, you're welcome. And I've had like Filipino friends as well. So
Oh, thanks.
Dude,
yeah.
not bad, dude.
Yeah,
Not bad.
it's good. It's good that like I don't know. I've experienced what other people are like, what
Right.
other cultures are like. So I haven't really. So in my sort of environment, we've never really encountered racism from my part, and as well as me asking my friends how they feel living in Hong Kong. Like generally, it's a very sort of welcoming community and whatnot, but I do feel that sometimes there are like sort of tensions between like locals and Indians. Like I've seen stuff happen, and it's definitely not pleasant, but I wouldn't say it's really widespread. Like I haven't seen it widespread. So
Yeah.
do you have anything different
For,
to say
for
about
me,
it?
for me, the thing is, I think the reason it doesn't happen too much on campus between like the locals and non-locals is because, like a lot of times, I think a lot of the discrimination or innate
Yeah.
thought process that happen, that kind of like give you a false perception of what that race is, happens mainly with the older generation. I think the
Yeah,
newer
yeah, yeah.
generation is a lot more progressive.
Right.
A lot more open.
I can anyone that I meet that's from a local background, like I can essentially just talk to them like a normal person, and they don't see me as anyone different. I think another thing that really contributes to that kind of conversation is the fact that there's not much of a language barrier between them and me. So a person that might come from, let's say, more of an international school might have a problem if they don't know Cantonese so well.
Yeah.
right? I think that language barrier is also a very, very important thing when you try to communicate or like when you want to like fit into the culture. That's a very important part.
Yeah.
That's why you'll see a lot of people that can speak Cantonese, like they'll have a lot more
Yeah.
local friends than those that
Yeah.
don't, just because of the fact that
You
that
can-
language barrier is a very, very important
Yeah.
thing to overcome.
And like when you're making jokes as well, sometimes
Yeah,
the joke
that-
just
yeah.
doesn't translate into other
Yeah,
languages.
there's
Exactly.
each of it has its own there's a very, very distinct cultural difference. That's why a lot of times I usually identify myself as a Hong Kong, not Indian, because of the fact that I feel as though that my cultural aspect like fits more within the Hong Kong culture, right? Not the Indian culture, because they're just so distinct,
Right.
right?
It's really interesting for you
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
Like, as a
That you're
person
Hong
who's
Kong.
known how to speak Cantonese, like all my life, I still can't really identify as a local because I don't understand like some of the slang, some of the
Right.
jokes,
Mm.
some of the references, and it's a lot about the culture and how we're raised with like different environments.
Mm.
So sometimes even I find it hard as well to
Yeah.
try to mingle and have like long, proper, deep conversations with
Right.
like locals in Cantonese because frankly it's not that strong and I don't really know what the references they're
Yeah.
referring to and the sort of like the jokes and the little slang and stuff. So
But
I mean Cantonese is like not easy.
Yeah.
especially,
It
like-
isn't. So like I have the same situation as you as
Yeah.
well. I don't necessarily have. I don't feel as if I belong to one one specific identity. Like even for Filipinos, I don't think I like fully belong to that culture because there's some like I could I could understand Tagalog. Sorry.
do you need a
Want
ginger
some
candy?
water?
Do you need a
No,
ginger
it's
candy?
okay. Okay, it's clear now. No, it's alright. I have water.
Okay.
Okay, so like I could understand Tagalog and I can also understand a little bit of Cantonese, but I can never fully fit in either of them because the way I speak is already completely different from both of them, and how I was raised is very different to both of them.
Yeah.
Because I was raised as a Filipino kid in a Hong Kong household, so it's you mix to both worlds, and it makes me hard to relate completely to both of them, and that's why like my social circle is like mixed with different people. But it could be a bit lonely because I don't really have anyone I can completely relate to in terms of culture, and that also makes me kind of attack sometimes. Like some Filipinos would attack me because I couldn't speak fully in Tagalog, and some locals will attack me because I don't look local. So it's from both sides.
I think for me at least, like it's not a very aggressive attack. Perhaps it's more passive in sense where like they might not like talk to me
Yeah.
for a bit, but it's never like a very direct one, like
Right. Yeah.
like you Indian, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's never like that. I think they have. It's the thing is I'm not sure if it's a matter of like they're not confident or maybe they aren't sure about this kind of stuff. But going back to what like we covered, and I think the main thing that all of us have in common is the fact that there's not enough exposure about these kind of situations, these kind of people
Yeah.
that are in Hong Kong. I think like you're saying that there's a lot of tension between perhaps two groups in HKUST and people don't know about the other, and it's the complete opposite when you look at it from the other side, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really because it's basically looking at it from different perspectives, and when you look at it from that perspective, you don't get the same exposure. Like let's say that you were very passionate about one thing, then you wouldn't like search up or like get exposed to news or like the life of like the other people,
Yeah.
and it would be the exact opposite. So the thing is it's all about talking. It's about like getting your story out there, and that's the main problem I see when I see this kind of barriers being put into place, is that people aren't talking
Yeah.
about their own experiences. And so in terms
that's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, to
and
talk
to
about
like,
it.
talk about it.
And so
drag
like
it out from under the carpet.
so it's really not discrimination. I mean, like in Hong Kong, I really don't think there's too much of discrimination going on, just because of the fact that I think where all this stems from is the fact that they just don't maybe understand people like us, or you know, they're not used to us yet, right? Maybe throughout their life they're like, whoa, like this person, I don't know, this kind of person existed, like I'm kind of scared, or maybe, you know, like I'm not sure of what kind of person this person's gonna be, you know.
Well, I
Stuff like
think
that.
that it really depends though, because I still do think that there is still some discrimination in some contexts, because there are people who really just don't like, you know, your culture or something. Because like one experience is that, you know, before we weren't, like my family and I weren't really that welcomed to a restaurant because we're Filipino. It was after like this shooting, like the bus shooting, you know, like there's some Hong Kong tourists who went to the Philippines, something like that. So they were really mad at us, and you know, they would scold us when we were on the streets, things like that. And now, even though that died down, there's still some other kind of stereotypes that's put on us. Like sometimes I would be like even people I know, like I remember seeing them after, like I haven't seen them in a while, but then like I had my hair cut and stuff, so I looked a bit different, and they didn't recognize me immediately, and they just assumed I was a domestic helper.
Or just like based off of.
Yeah, so they just talked to me, like they were talking to me as if I was gonna pick up a kid or something. And then I told them it's me, and then they're like, oh yeah, I just thought you were a helper.
I remember you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
that's horrible. I mean,
So,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like, again, that just goes back to like people just don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
people
it's
just don't
really-
know. And there needs to be more exposure. I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna happen. Maybe God knows, man.
Well, I do think it's improving though a lot.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, the younger generation's a lot more open.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you go around UST, like if you just talk to a local, like just go up to a local, they're not gonna be like, hey, get away from me.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
they won't be like as cautious as they
Yeah.
would be like for older generations maybe. They're a lot more open. You just talk to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, what's up, and then like you just get to know each other. There might be a bit of a language barrier, but honestly, as long as you give a good personality, as long as you don't show any hostility,
Yeah.
you know, any disrespect, I think it should be completely fine. And those people that like do that kind of stuff, it should definitely be regarded as
I think it's
Un-
kind of.
Uncommon, like a one-off case.
Yeah.
yeah, and it should not be like what do you call it, publicized. Like it should not be promoted
Definitely
in
not.
society. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Shouldn't be like blown out of.
Well,
what
I
it
just
was, really.
Yeah.
well, it was mainly, you know, older people. So
Yeah, exactly.
in the end, because they're born in a different generation, so I don't really blame them for that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think our generation, it's like more. It's becoming more and more mixed. Like everyone's
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally everywhere. Like people will be like, I don't know, 19 or 18, and they would have lived in like 5 different countries for
Yeah.
their entire life. So, yeah, we're still in the process of like a changing generation, I think.
Yeah.
And once it settles down, or like once everyone's more used to this new dynamic, then we could have a better environment.
Yeah.
Should be.
Is it? I don't know. Is it too hopeful to say like?
Yeah,
Well,
I think it
I
might.
think that
Yeah, I
is-
mean, yeah, I mean in the short run, maybe in the long run, but
Yeah.
like for the next few decades.
It's up to us, you guys. Like
It is
the
up to
next
us.
few decades, it's up to us. So
yeah, because we'll be old by then. We'll be the old generation.
But how important do you guys think culture is, like to
like,
mix? Like, well, I mean, like this, like let's say that you had 2 people with like different types of cultures, like different types of habits, hobbies, those kind of things. Do you think that's a defining factor of if they have a good relationship with each other or not?
No.
Like a
Because
friendship or relationship?
Friendship, any kind of relationship. So
I,
it's a friendship.
I don't think it's. Well, I think there's gonna be a lot of differences in terms of like maybe personality or interest, but I don't think that would be a barrier.
I don't see it as a barrier.
Yeah, at all. Like no, because yeah, like as you know, in UST, like a lot of my friends are just people from so many different backgrounds,
Yeah.
and we don't really have like a very distinct factor that changes how we treat each other. Because even though it's different cultures, like we're, you know, in terms of respect should be a universal
Yeah,
thing.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
And
think
it's, yeah.
yeah. For me personally, like I like to joke around a lot, and I make a lot of references to memes and vines. And so, like, what I find myself doing is when I hang out with my Korean friends who aren't really international, like, so they lived in Korea all their lives, then I wouldn't bring up, memes or vines.
So as we were talking about, so the thing is, so the defining factor that actually people get people together is like respect.
Yeah, pretty much.
Respect. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like one is respect, the other one is openness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Openness to change,
Yes.
right? So those
Difference.
To like
Differences,
new
yeah.
experiences.
Adaptability as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, exactly. So those two things, as long as you have that, I think it's fine. And I think a lot of people do have respect in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's just the openness.
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm making friends or when I'm with friends with other cultures or backgrounds, you don't really think about that, right? You don't really
Yeah,
think
I don't think.
oh, they're not the same race as me, or they don't have the same sort of
Yeah.
values as me.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you click because you relate about something, and then
You
you're kind
talk
of friends,
about-
right?
yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I don't really think about
I think that's
where they're from
just
or whatever, right?
that's the mindset of like our generation.
Yeah,
I really don't know how like the older generation thinks, but
I don't know, man, but
yeah.
it's up to us to change. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Up
Yay!
to us.
It's about the intellect. How much? I'm kidding. No. I'm not saying if you have bad intellect, you're a bad person. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, thanks so much, Dylan. It was
Thank
great.
you
Thank
for
you.
inviting
It was great
me.
so much. If you guys have any questions or comments, remember to leave it down below.
In the comments. Is it the
Like and
comments?
subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel.